Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting for North Bend for April 21st, 2026. Will the clerk please call roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Errol Chemilata.
Here.
Councilmember Brendan Elwood.
Present.
Councilmember Mark Jocelyn.
Present.
Councilmember Heather Cullen.
Here.
Councilmember Rob McFarland.
Here.
Councilmember Christina Rustick.
Present.
Councilmember Susan Torgerson.
Here.
All are present, Your Honor.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Will the clerk please do the flag salute tonight, if you don't mind?
Your flag.
Yes.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, well, excellent. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Before we get moving on to Mr. Tremolette, I'll go to you in a second. We're going to have a slight change to tonight's agenda and add an exec session per RCW 42.30.140B, and that'll last with no decision made for 5 minutes. So, Mr. Tremolette, Mayor Pro Tem, will you please make the motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Yeah, motion to approve agenda as written for April 21st, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion by Mr. Tremolata. Again, thank you, Mr. Jocelyn, for your second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, I was gonna say, I think we're supposed to say as amended because we added something to it. Wasn't that supposed to be not just as written, but as amended?
Yep,
Correct.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, so that didn't happen. So I just want to put that out. But yes, I
We'll
approve.
take note of that in the record. Thank you very much, Susan. Okay, moving on to consent agenda, but before we do, council, does anyone wish to pull an item off consent and for debate? Seeing none, let's move on to audience participation.
Your Honor.
Sorry, excuse me.
Approval of the consent agenda
Thank
as
you so much.
presented.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we're going to toss for that one. Motion by Mr. Jocelyn, second by Mr. McFarland. Thank you very much. Audience participation, if there's anyone wishing to speak on an item on.
Should we vote?
I'm having too much fun. Okay, let's play.
Vote on the consent agenda.
We're going to vote on the consent agenda. Thank you all so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. And now the long-awaited audience participation section. Obviously, I want to hear from everybody out there. And if there is anyone who wants to speak on an agenda item or some item that's not on the agenda, you're welcome to come to the podium at this time. Please state your name and spell your name for the record, or for the clerk, excuse me. And you have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone out there? Anybody online?
Not tonight, Your Honor.
Okay, we're quiet. I waited for almost basically nothing. Okay. Announcements, presentations, and appointments. We have a presentation, 2027-2028 biennial budget planning calendar. Mr. Chaw, can you please let us know, inform us all? And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, Martin Shaw, Finance Director. This is agenda item number 5, a presentation of the 27-28 biennial budget calendar. My apologies. Let me try to reshare the screen again. Oh, I'm having technical difficulties, Mayor. I'll just go ahead and just start. This is included on page 15 of your agenda packet. What I'm overviewing for you is the 27 through 2032 budget calendar. For the listening audience, state law authorizes cities that operate on an annual or biennial budget. And the city of North Bend operates on a biennial budget, which means for the 25-26 budget, we are operating under the biennial budget. It runs from January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2026. We're in the last year of the 25-26 biennium, which means we're starting to plan for the 27 through 28 biennial budget. Tonight, what I wish to do is to overview with you the budget development calendar and key milestones for council. Again, the materials here are included in your packet on page 16. I have just an overview and a refresher for you, council, as to the management of the city's budget. We manage our budget through 29 different funds. Each fund is balanced with sources equal to uses. And for the 27-28 budget, we plan to prepare the spending authority over the next 24 months for each fund. There is a mid-biennial budget review that's authorized, and that would occur in November of 2026. In terms of budget milestones, this is on slide 17, council. There are several key dates for you. I have these color-coded. Obviously, the first 3 months of the year has gone by already. We've had our council retreat on February 10th, and staff has started the budget planning process. We started that in March. We have the mayor's State of the City address coming up on April 29th, which is next week, followed by her reviewing the department's budget requests. That occurs between June and July, and the mayor will finalize her budget and then present the preliminary budget targeting for September 1st. In terms of council touch points, which are listed in blue, we have a work study scheduled for May 26th. That will include an economic update, a review of policies and priorities, and then a second work study on June 23rd, at which time we'll review revenues, expenses, and a preliminary financial forecast for the city. Following the mayor's presentation of the preliminary budget, we launch into the council's review, and this includes 2 public hearings as required under RCW. The first one will occur on September 1st, which will include property taxes and revenues. And then the second one would be a review of the mayor's preliminary budget on October 6th. We also have several council budget workshops scheduled for September 22nd, October 13th, and October 27th. And we have adoption of the 2027 property tax ordinance scheduled for October 20th. And then in November, either on the 3rd or the 17th, we have planned council adoption of the omnibus budget ordinance, as well as the CIP budget, again in November prior to the Thanksgiving holiday. And then once all that occurs, then in January of next year, we'll turn our attention to publishing a final adopted budget book. It's our intent, council, this is on the last slide, or page 18 of your materials, to secure the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the 27-28 budget. As you recall, we were able to secure that award for the 25-26 budget. I mean, that concludes my remarks. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cha. As always, council, do you have any clarifying questions for Mr. Cha? Seeing none.
Hi,
Oh, sorry, Rob.
Mayor.
Yep.
A little late. Martin, first off, commend particularly the budget work studies that I'm seeing there. That's great. I noted that the first one is talking about policies and priorities. I think that's also very good that we should start off by talking about policies. Council members, I know I've mentioned in a couple of committee meetings, policy ideas that interest me, and perhaps the administration could kind of put a running list together that we could all see of things that we're wanting to be sure that we're talking about ahead of time. So that's one comment question for you. And then I was curious, Mayor, you're addressing the budget in your discussion with the city in April? Are there particular, but I'm not sure why that's pertinent to the budget presentation. I just wondered.
Verification on that? Amber?
Are you talking about the state of the city?
Versus September's budget. I just was curious since it's not to council.
It's just to talk through, it's a very short piece in the state of the city for fiscal stability and what we're looking at. It's nothing to do with the planning for the next budget. It's what we're currently doing.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you again. Let's move on to commission and committee reports. Let's start with Community and Economic Development, Council Member and Chair Torgerson. Please.
Well, we just had our meeting. Here we go. We had, let me get this closer to me. So today at 4 p.m., we had the Community and Economic Development Committee meeting. We had a lengthy amount of items on our agenda, and we took 2 items off and we still were over by 35 minutes. So we had a lot to talk about. First, we talked about an annexation petition by local property and property owner. That was a lengthy 45-minute conversation, lots of good information. Then we discussed the North Bend Downtown Foundation funding and the contract that ended last year. And we talked about potential things going forward. We agreed that we wanted to figure out how to do some sort of patchwork for that. And then in the fall, we would discuss something a little bit longer and a little bit more detail, but we seem to be kind of in a little rush right now. We need to figure out how to fund them as we don't have a contract in place. And then after that was another long conversation. We spent a few minutes to talk about other 3 items, which was the North Bend Municipal Code for permitting timeframe amendments, which matches what the state requires. And the purpose of it is to reduce the time frame. And we're hoping that, and the staff is hoping they can do whatever they can to make that happen. Also, we discussed 2 more grants that are coming in, and those will be on the May 5th council agenda. And so it's always exciting when we have grant money to help out our local city. And that's it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Ms. Rustick, Finance Administration, please.
Thank you. Finance and Administration Committee met on April 7th at 2:30. On the agenda was the discussion about the North Bend Downtown Foundation, similar in nature to what was just shared by Councilmember Torgerson. We also had a conversation about what the item that's on the agenda tonight, agreement with the Bosch for security upgrades to City Hall Annex. We also discussed, also on the agenda for tonight, the 2025-26 budget amendment number 5. And then we did have such a lengthy discussion that we did run out of time, but audit status updates include the completion of the 2023 audit. And I know council, we all received the report, and then the in progress is the 2024 state audit. So, and that was it. We ran out of time. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Public Health and Safety Chair Elwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. Public Health and Safety Committee met April 7th at 4 p.m. here in City Hall. We had several items on the docket. There was a fire update and police services update, which is always fantastic. So if anybody, member of the public is interested in hearing what's going on, you can tune in to our Public Health and Safety Committee meetings. We also had a discussion with Chief Hall regarding North Bend's policing policy and participation with ICE. We've talked about it a few times at regular council meetings. So there's great information out there on that. And then we talked about trying to get, Miss Emery is trying to get fishing from us, actually, for our public health and safety work plan. She's doing a great job beating it out of our heads, but hopefully we've got one started and we'll be hitting the ground running here soon. And then also future agenda topics, walk-ons, and so forth. Our next meeting will be May 5th at 4 p.m. in the City Hall adjournment room. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. TPW, Transportation Public Works, Chair Coleman.
Yes, we last met on March 24th at 3 o'clock in the meeting room, the adjournment room. The first order of business was we had a monthly update on Meadowbrook Sewer ULID project. We next had a monthly update on number 4 SR 202, the Shared Use Trail project. We talked about a resolution approving a project closeout for Bridge 1135-3 and 1135-4 deck repair project. We had talked about a resolution approving a project closeout for the wastewater treatment plant fence project, which is on our agenda tonight. We talked about resolution approving project closeout for SCADA upgrades project. It's a housekeeping project. We talked about review park and main intersection improvement project designs as requested in the March TPW meeting. We discussed on prioritization of Complete Streets Phase 1 and the Starfish Roundabout projects. We talk about a lot of things. We talked about our first review of city's 2027-2032 6-year transportation improvement plan. It's better known as the TIP. So that is it. Our next meeting will be April 28th in the adjournment room at 3 o'clock, which is our new time.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Tremolata.
We had a city council work study on March 24th. A few different topics discussed. We had a update on Project 34, which is quite exciting and seeming to come to fruition slowly but surely. A lot of players involved. Looks like we'll have quite a bit more information as the year goes on, if not sooner than later. We additionally then sparked the original conversation, I think, from about the North Bend Downtown Foundation contract. I think the takeaway there is there's likely another work study ahead, more conversation with this council about how we figure this out and the best use of funds and the strategy going forward. We also had a review of the criminal justice sales tax option that is being considered by many cities right now, as well as us.
Thank you so much. Eastside Fire and Rescue, Councilmember Rustic.
Eastside Fire and Rescue met on April 9th at 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. There was a retirement for Deputy Chief Greg Karat and a promotion of Deputy Chief Jeremy Hicks. We did a review of the staff report, and that gets shared at Public Health and Safety, so I won't go into that. The key element for the meeting was to talk about for Eastside Fire and Rescue long-term financing options. And there was a lengthy presentation by the Eastside Fire and Rescue attorney. And I handed out to each of you kind of a one-page summary because I thought it was a good visual to kind of give you an FYI on some of the conversations that are going on. The current structure for Eastside Fire and Rescue is an ILA. So that's the first column. Some of the things they're looking at, though, and it is not dependent on whether or not the city of North Bend enters into an RFA with District 38. I just wanted you to know they're looking at forming potentially a larger RFA across multiple cities. So it kind of gives a side-by-side comparison. So again, this does not impact North Bend's ability to have a conversation with District 38 about entering into an RFA, but I just wanted everybody to be aware that Eastside Fire and Rescue is considering an option to form a larger RFA. So, and you can kind of see at the bottom what the requirements are for voter approval of each of those options. I was given an update today by city manager that the District 38 did approve to send the city of North Bend a letter saying they're interested in pursuing an RFA with North Bend. So that concludes my update.
Thank you so much. Planning Parks and Economic Development Commission, James Henderson.
Yeah, good morning. Good evening, Mayor and council members. The Planning Commission met on March 18 and held a public hearing and provided a recommendation on amendments to the city's permitting timeframes established in the North Bend Municipal Code 20.05 for consistency with state law. The Planning Commission did not meet in April. The Planning Commission will next meet on May 6th and will review draft unit lot subdivision regulations addressing requirements of recent state legislation to enable this simplified form of lot division for certain types of residential development, including cottages, townhomes, and accessory dwelling units. The Park Commission met on March 25 and discussed draft amendments to the park element, including prospective amendments to the park's capital facilities plans, comments received from the Snoqualmie tribe, and amendments needed in consideration of an update to the park's impact fee rate study being performed by the city consultant Bowman. The Parks Commission will next meet tomorrow, April 22nd, and will continue review of the draft amendments to the parks element and discuss public feedback received from the bike survey and how that may inform potential bike-related capital projects in the park's capital facilities plan. The Parks Commission will also discuss work to date for future pedestrian and bicycle wayfinding signage improvements. And finally, the Economic Development Commission met on March 26 to review and discuss 5 common priorities that were developed jointly with the Snoqualmie Economic Development Commission. The 5 priorities included mountain town character, business and entrepreneurship, family-friendly communities, city beautification, and affordable housing. To support the priority of business and entrepreneurship, the Commission will kick off a 1 Million Cup project in North Bend beginning on May 13th at 10 a.m. at City Hall. 1 Million Cups is a nationwide initiative of the Kauffman Foundation to support local businesses and entrepreneurs. Each Wednesday, communities across the U.S. host a 1 Million Cups gathering to provide networking, problem solving, and best practice sharing among local businesses. Future North Bend 1 Million Cups will take place on the second Wednesday of the month from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at City Hall. And the Commission will meet this coming Thursday, April 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henderson. Moving on to regional committee reports. Anybody on council? Anything that they'd like to share? Mr. Jocelyn.
Hello.
Sorry, missed you over there. Sorry.
That's okay. It's either one of us could go first. It doesn't matter. I'm part of the Regional Law, Safety, and Justice Committee and through SCA, and we met on March 26th. That's our first meeting of the year. We discussed the election of a caucus chair during our caucus time. We listened to the King County presentation regarding gun violence prevention earlier in the morning, and then we talked about the future of topics that we're going to have. And one of them actually I've been asking for, advocating for, was about substance use abuse and how can we help out people. And I was able to get someone to be a speaker who her daughter had passed away from drug use overdose of fentanyl. And so she's going to potentially be one of the speakers. So super excited about that because she can give insight to King County on potentially how to improve things to make less issues, make things better for people in addicted state and have better avenues going forward. So excited about that. And then our next meeting is going to be this Thursday at 7:30 a.m. and then 2 p.m.
Thank you so much. Mr. Jocelyn.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Sound Cities Association Public Issues Committee met on April 8th in Renton at the City Hall. The first topic was a review of the King County Transportation District, who had met earlier in the month to consider imposing a 0.1% sales tax across the county. The Sound Cities Association had presented a letter to the transportation districts suggesting 2 things: city involvement and allocation of funds, and that there be a pass-through to the cities, as 95% of the revenue generated from the sales tax would be coming from cities. The King County Transportation District essentially took 3 different votes at different pass-through levels, 25, 20, and 12%, I believe, and allegiances continued to shift such that there was never an affirmative 4-3 vote in favor of any of those pass-through amounts. Although during the process, I believe 7 of the 9 county members, board members, did at some point vote in favor of a pass-through. Then the kind of a wrench was thrown in the works when it had been believed that, or had been presented by the county, that the board needed to take action such that the tax could be imposed by April 17th and revenues start coming in to avoid cuts later in the year. But the county executive's office dismissed that concern and no action was taken. It will be picked up again at the May meeting for conversation. It's expected that they'll come forward with a unified proposal. And if any action is taken, collection would then start the beginning of 2027. There you go. There was also an extended conversation about 2027 proposed sewer rate increases. The wastewater treatment division is proposing a 12.75% monthly sewer rate increase. Now, the good news here is, while we do have incurred significant indebtedness for our city with our own wastewater treatment plant, we do not pay sewer rates to the county, and we are exempt from what looks like a rate schedule. The language that was used was quite colorful, insane and crazy and untenable and all sorts of things. But again, thankfully, and because of foresight by some people in this room, we are not exposed to those increases. There was a summary presentation given by Senior Policy Analyst for the Sound Cities Association, A.J. Foltz, on the past legislative session, what wins, losses, things that went well. A repeated takeaway was the importance of cities engaging with their state representatives when they're not in session, when they're back at home, to reach out, share priorities, let them understand better what's happening on the ground, how the decisions they make impact folks in their daily lives. The next meeting of the Sound Cities Association will be held, of the Public Issues Committee will be held Thursday, May 13th. Then I've got another one, which is the Puget Sound Regional Council Executive Board, which met Thursday, March 26th. There was a presentation by Challenge Seattle, which Christine Gregoire, former governor, was there and presented and spoke to this about regional economic challenges, of which there are some. I did earlier tonight share with all of council two presentations: the Challenge Seattle presentation, also a economic development study done on behalf of King County, the Puget Sound Regional Council, that speaks to similar issues. Former Governor Gregoire suggested that, or reached out for feedback. What's the biggest barrier to our region's economic competitiveness? Priority actions. What is the one thing our region could do to strengthen competitiveness, and what would it take to get it done? And high impact partnerships. Challenge Seattle is primarily focused on building public-private partnerships in support of regional economic growth. There was conversation around signing on to a letter supporting funding for ferries. That was relative to the state legislative session, which is now wrapped. And there was some additional funding, although there were differences of opinion. And that's it. The next Puget Sound Regional Council Executive Board meeting will be in 2 days on Thursday, April 23rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, move on to main agenda. Item number 6 is a public hearing ordinance amending AMBMC Chapter 18.06. Ms. Burrell, I turn it over to you to inform council, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. So before you tonight, as the mayor just described, our North Bend Municipal Code Chapter 1806 definitions and 1810 zoning districts, which were approved with the 2025 work plan. The amendments are intended to modernize and streamline zoning questions that we receive almost every day. So with the help of our summer intern last year, these changes clarified over half of our 270 land use definitions so that they align with our permitted, conditional, and prohibited uses table to reflect what we've heard from the community, respond to recent state legislation, and address various technical updates related to bulk and dimensional standards. The proposed amendments do not change any zoning designations and are consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. Key elements include updates to comply with Senate Bill 5509, which requires that cities allow childcare facilities in all zones, a new provision implementing House Bill 1757, which permits up to 50% more residential density in existing buildings where multifamily housing is allowed. Consolidation of tattoo and body piercing studios and pet businesses into the existing personal services category by removing location-specific or prohibition standards. And additional minor updates to Table 1810-040, which is bulk and dimensional, and Table 1810-050, which is performance standard, to ensure consistency and clarity across the zoning code. The Planning Commission provided a recommendation of approval for these amendments September 15th, 2025. And a public hearing is being held tonight due to the time that has passed and the removal and addition of some amendments, which I'll quickly go over. So due to council feedback following Planning Commission recommendation, adjustments to the neighborhood mixed use, the NMU zone, to allow additional residential on the ground floor behind required commercial was removed. Additionally, council did not support removal of the 10-unit cap per building for the multifamily in the IMU zone. So those two were removed. New amendments since the Planning Commission recommendation are clarification that townhomes and townhouses adhere to multifamily design standards. An allowance for pet services, as I mentioned, under personal services, which is different than kennels, and are required to comply with provisions of King County Code. And allowance for convenience store, retail, and drive-through fast food in the EP zone with performance standards specific to the Middle Fork Master Plan Development Commercial Area, which were supported by the hearing examiner's recent decision as some of the potential future uses that we might see there. So at this point, I will be able to answer any questions you have, and also just note that this last went to CED committee on February 24th, and they recommended full council. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burrell. Any clarifying questions from council? Let's go with Heather and then Chris.
It's probably simple. What is the difference between a townhome and a townhouse?
Yes, we said both because they're interchangeable, really. And the clarification was that they function as a single family attached unit. So usually it could be like a condo, a townhome is vertical. So a lot of times you share the sidewalls, but they're individually owned. And our code was putting them in the bucket of single family detached. So they still appear like a multifamily from the outside and function that way with parking and things, but townhome, townhouse, same.
Yep. Thank you. Councilmember Rustic.
Yes, thank you. I have 3 questions.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. I'll start with the easy one. I noticed there was, reading through all this, there was the word cottages was crossed out in some cases. Was the intent to retitle what we've called cottages?
I believe so. It's a pretty thick document that we've been working on for quite a while, but my assumption is they were either not caught before. So we changed our cottage to medium density residential.
Yeah.
So it was probably some of that that was missed before. And yes, it's really a smaller single family home. So that's probably what that was.
Thank you. My next question is, can you, with the change of tattoo parlors and body piercing studios into personal services, what does that mean as far as a change? I mean, it's fine to reclassify it, but what does that actually look like then?
There were some performance standards, probably on page 56 of the 19 and 56 is where those show up of the packet. And it did limit where you could put those. And so I think we have 2 businesses in town now. Probably demand's going to dictate where future ones go. And I guess, we felt like we wanted to get out of the business of regulating, again, people come to the counter, can I have this use? Well, you can have it here, but not here. And it didn't really make functional sense as to why it was so limited in a specific zone. So it just took out that performance standard essentially and just lumps it with the personal services category.
Okay, I apologize because I did try to go to the reference pages and still was unclear. So thank you for answering that. My last question is the last item that relates to drive-through fast food within the EP zone. Understand collectively, is it possible we don't have very much classified as EP, but is it possible that a fast food restaurant could back up to residential homes?
Zoning map here.
Something that would prohibit.
No, not in that area. It's completely EP1 and then surrounded by by streets. And so no.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Any other clarifying questions for Ms. Burrell? Seeing none? Okay, I'm gonna do that. We're gonna gavel our opening of our public hearing. If anybody is wishing to speak on this item tonight, please come to the podium and state your name. Please spell your name for the clerk, and you have 3 minutes to speak. And thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Erin Hemmings, and last name is spelled Hemmings, and I live here in beautiful North Bend. I wanted to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for your time and for your care and for the thought, and especially to the planning teams for helping with all of these zoning updates. It really shows that you care about the future of North Bend, and I'm just incredibly grateful to be part of this conversation in general. I'm here tonight not only to say thank you, but to let you know that I'm in the process of opening up a small business. It's called Bark at the Moon Valley. It's a dog daycare that has a retail space with it as well, and it's designed in a Pacific Northwest nature-inspired theme. I feel that this reflects the community because it'll be calm, well-managed, and be a good neighbor in every sense. But I do want to clarify, touching on something that Jamie said earlier. This is not a kennel. It's a daytime-only care similar to childcare. Dogs are dropped off in the morning. They have structured, supervised environments, and then they get picked up in the evening. It is calm, clean, and intentionally designed to be low impact and community friendly. That's why I'm encouraged to see these updates, recognizing pet care as personal services, because at its core, that's exactly what it is. We're giving back a service that supports local families and fits in naturally to a commercial setting. And a place like North Bend, where so many people come to visit, hike, ski, and snowshoe and explore, it creates an opportunity for visitors and residents alike to know that their dogs are safely cared for while they enjoy everything that this area has to offer. They can spend more time supporting local shops, restaurants, and other places before heading home. When I moved here, I couldn't find a place for my own 4 dogs. Yeah, I've got a lot of dogs. But I couldn't find anywhere that felt safe and warm and aligned with the level of care that I was looking for. I knew I couldn't be the only one. So as North Bend grows, my goal is to create something that truly supports local families and reflects the care and the character of the community. I'm incredibly grateful and humbled for the opportunity to do that in North Bend. If anybody would like to know more, I'm happy to connect, or you can look us up at barkatthemoonvalley.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Anybody else wish to speak? Anybody online tonight? Phil?
Not tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. Okay, going forward, I believe this came through, let's see, CED, Ms. Torgerson.
Yes. Motion to approve AB 20.
I forgot to.
You need to close the public.
Excuse me.
hearing. Thank you.
Pardon me. Closing the public hearing. Thank you, Amber. Now you can proceed. Excuse me.
Okay, I'll start again.
Yep.
Motion to approve AB 26-034, an ordinance amending North Bend Municipal Code, Chapter 18.06, definitions, and North Bend Municipal Code, Chapter 18.10, zoning districts, as a first and final reading.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Ms. Torgerson, second by Mr. Elwood. All in favor? All right, would you like to
Point
speak
of
to
order, Your
anything?
Honor.
Sorry, would you like to comment?
This is basically cleanup work. A lot of work went into it. It wasn't just a little bit of work, but it's definitely needed to be done. And so, yeah, I'm going to vote for this.
Fantastic. Mr. Elwood, would you like to comment?
I really add, Your Honor, that it did go through rounds of discussions and debate on the committee, which is why it's here, obviously. So I'm looking forward to hearing the discussion from the rest of you. Thank you.
Terrific. Anybody else on council wish to comment? No? Yeah, okay. Thank you. All right, so motion to approve AB 26-034, an ordinance amending North Bend Municipal Code, Chapter 18.06 definitions, and the North Bend Municipal Code, Chapter 18.10 zoning districts as a first and final reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you all. It's passed unanimously.
Point of order or clarification, Your Honor. Did you ask for any discussion after we seconded? Or did you only ask for, okay, I just want to make sure that I missed it. Thank you.
No, that's correct. Okay, so that was motion passed unanimously. Thank you so much. Kendra, would you like to?
Oh,
say?
in case it was helpful, Mayor, yes, you did open the floor after the second on the motion for council comments, and that would be the time for discussion and debate as well before the vote.
Okay. Well, we'll backtrack a little bit. I don't think we can do that now.
No, you did.
There is no need to.
All good.
Oh, okay, good. 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 Yay. Okay. That passed again unanimously, and we're going to move on to item number 7, AB 26-035. Also a public hearing resolution adopting the 6-year TIP 2027 to 2032. Mr. Moore, looking towards you to inform us tonight, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Every year as required by Washington state law, the city must develop and adopt a 6-year transportation improvement plan, including a public hearing. This program lays out a plan for improving and maintaining the city's transportation system. On page 151 of the packet, you'll see the TIP table showing all the projects, and the projects highlighted in yellow are the ones that are actively being designed by staff and consultants. Following the TIB table in the packet, you'll find the narrative sheet, which gives project descriptions, and then a map with all the project locations as well. There are several benefits derived from the annual update and adoption of the Transportation Improvement Plan, including the TIP as a management tool for city council and city staff. It provides valuable information to committees, commissions, citizens, developers, and businesses interested in the development of the city. It assists in leveraging available resources through improved timing of projects, improved coordination of city projects with those of private and other public entities. It helps to protect the city's current infrastructure and to plan for new infrastructure. And lastly, many grant sources require that projects be adopted in the city's TIP prior to turning in applications for those grant sources. Significant changes from last year's TIP to this year's TIP. We removed all the projects that are planned for construction this year, as it's a forward-looking document. We moved project T067, the Complete Streets Segment 4, which is the segment of North Bend Way from the entrance to Torgerson Park to the roundabout at 436th Avenue. We moved that up the priority list. We added project T073, the Ballarat Avenue South Roadway and Parking Improvements Project. That's the section of Ballarat off of Park Street on the east side, that short section on the east side of Taylor Park. That project, that design's 100% complete at this point. We added the Ballarat Plaza project, and we added the 2027 Sidewalk Gaps project. Other than that, the TIP remains largely unchanged. The Transportation and Public Works Committee reviewed this item on the March 24th, 26 committee meeting, and recommended approval to the main agenda for discussion as you see it now. We've only received comments from the tribe at this point. We received comments this morning. We forwarded those to council this morning as well. And before the 6-year TIP is adopted by City Council, which is scheduled for the May 19th meeting, public hearing will be open tonight and remain open until that May 19th meeting. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Any clarifying questions for Mr. Moore? Council. Seeing none, we will go forward and open up the public hearing. And if there's anybody in chambers or online tonight who would wish to speak to this item, please come to the podium first. We'll take chambers. Anybody? Anybody online?
Not tonight, Your Honor.
Great. We're going to leave this public hearing open. Let's see, it came through TPW. Ms. Colin. Please make the motion.
Yes, motion to approve AB 26-035, a resolution adopting the 6-year Transportation Improvement Plan 2027 through 2032 as a first reading and continue the public hearing until May 19th, 2026 City Council meeting.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Colin, second by Mr. McFarland. Thank you much. Like to speak to your motion at all?
This is a regular thing that we do. It helps our staff put things in order of what needs to be done, how to budget our money for these projects, and what we deem most important. I would like to add, I did read the letter from the tribe this morning, and I think we should communicate with them on some of their concerns. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McFarland, would you care to add anything?
Thank you, Mayor.
Mhm.
Yes, I also read that letter. I'm sure each council member, if they've seen it, will certainly take it into consideration and invite more feedback. As a member of the committee, I just want to remind council members who are not, if you have anything there that you want to give feedback, the committee will be meeting again before the next hearing on this, and so would invite that feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. That was great. Yes, you sir can.
Thank you.
Rustic.
Thank you. Yes, also as a member of TPW, we take a look at these. It's always difficult to prioritize what's the most critical, but we take into consideration public safety in our conversations, and then, just what elements are in need of repair. So please, as was mentioned, the tribe has commented, but if anybody else has any comments, we welcome them for anything that we haven't considered in this. That's all I had. Thank you.
Wonderful. Any other comments, council? Mr. Tremolato.
Yeah, I'll just comment, as I think infrastructure is probably my most interested and important factor of being a council member. Although we have them marked on here as significant changes, I think we should underscore the work from TPW to bring up a couple of items in a priority list, both complete streets and the Ballarat Avenue. I think that really shows a change in scope for council to look at investing in the downtown corridor directly through the way that we best can, which is infrastructure. And we just heard from an individual that wants to invest in a small business in this town. I think those are the things that we can do and the levers we can pull to make those realities come to fruition quicker, support them as they do open their businesses by adding parking, adding better accessibility. So I applaud the group. I think that's good work. I just look for us to do more of that where we can. And I'm happy with the changes and look forward to kind of pushing this forward.
Great. Anybody else I might have forgotten? Mr. Jocelyn.
Just a couple things, Your Honor. There is this important column on the TIP list, which is federal dollars that are leveraged in putting in place this infrastructure, which on the list before us tonight is almost $50 million. And again, I just want to acknowledge staff. That doesn't happen without the engagement of staff, their hard work and efforts, their forward thinkingness, and in fact, having in place a 6-year transportation improvement plan. All of that facilitates bringing additional dollars into town that isn't coming out of the pockets of folks who live here, at least directly. I want to thank Councilmember Colin for pointing out, and Councilmember McFarland as well, the tribe reaching out. It's very important. It's a good letter. It's well thought out. And one of the primary asks in there is reach out early and often. As I know staff is aware, the sooner you engage, the more support and the more influence that is provided to ending up with a win for everybody as much as possible at the end of the day as these things move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Did I forget anybody else? No? Okay, motion to approve AB 26-035, a resolution adopting the 6-year Transportation Improvement Plan 2027 to 2032 as a first reading and continuing the public hearing until the May 19th, 2026 City Council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, one and all. Moving on to item number 8, AB 26-036, motion authorizing contract with Bosch Building Technology. Mr. Chaw, we look to you again. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Again, for the record, Martin Shaw, Finance Director. Council, this is agenda item number 8, AB 26-036. This is a motion authorizing a contract with Bosch Building Technologies. By way of background, the Federal Criminal Justice Information Services section establishes security standards for securing personal information related to the criminal justice system. This covers the access, storage, as well as transmittal of sensitive information at the City Hall Annex, which is where the King County Sheriff's Office will be housed. The motion here is to authorize an agreement with Bosch Building Technologies to make security improvements to the City Hall Annex. This item was reviewed by the F&A Committee on April 7th with a recommendation for approval by a full council. In terms of the investments that's being proposed, first is tenant improvements for Nobilis Construction. This was approved prior under AB 26-017 at a cost of $47,252. Again, these were interior tenant improvements to the City Hall Annex, as you recall. In addition, the King County Information Technology Division has installed high-speed internet wiring for the City Hall Annex at a cost of $20,000. And then lastly, for this item, would be the CJIS mandated security improvements at a cost of not to exceed $80,000, of which the King County Sheriff's Office will contribute $10,000. So in total, the overall investments for the City Hall Annex, King County is contributing a total of $30,000, and the city is contributing between the Nobilis tenant improvements as well as the CJIS security improvements, a total of $127,252. Be aware, Council, that we did negotiate aggressively with King County. The costs, we were able to bring down the CJIS costs slightly by pushing back on the recommended improvements to make sure that they were limited to only those improvements that met CJIS requirements. That concludes my remarks. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chaw. Once again, any clarifying questions from Mr. Chaw? Brendan.
So must-haves are included in the price, not nice-to-haves.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, Ms. Rustic.
Do we anticipate any additional costs coming in 2027, 2028 budget for the annex for police services?
Not for the annex. We
Not
were
for the
very vigilant and aggressive in discussing that with the county sheriff's office to ensure that this would be the last item, Councilwoman, that we needed to bring the annex up to county standards prior to the sheriff's office occupancy.
Great. Councilmember Rustic, if I can add to, in our conversations, again, we had a meeting last week. That's why it says not to exceed, because I anticipate we might be able to bring that down even further. We'll continue to have those conversations and talk about what any other items we can slim off. So that's why we have an NTE on there and not an exact amount.
That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from council? Ms. Torgerson, is that a hand up? Okay.
You said not for the annex. Is there some other expenses they'll be like maybe at the outlet mall or something like that we need to do for police services?
Not for the outlet mall, Councilwoman. That one is, we will have the lease agreement between the city and Simon Properties. But the interior improvements that they would need at the outlet mall, that would be between the sheriff's office and Simon Properties.
Councilmember Torgerson, if I can add to that piece, Councilmember Elwood, you bring this up in public health and safety a lot. There will be policy decisions that council can weigh in on and say, we want this for our city that would be over and above and beyond what the service packages that we, have. That would be then at your decision at that point that we want to purchase this piece of equipment that is not necessarily on that person when they were suited on unincorporated. We want it for like the Explorer program that Maple Valley and Sammamish do. That's something that they do on the side. That's not included in the contract. So there is things that we'll bring forward, but nothing that is a purchase piece to that point, Councilmember Torgerson.
Anybody else? No? Okay, this came through Finance and Administration. Ms. Rustick, would you make the motion, please?
Yes, thank you. Motion to approve AB 26-036, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Bosch for security improvements to the City Hall Annex in an amount not to exceed $80,000 in a form and content acceptable to the city attorney.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. McFarland. Motion by Ms. Rustick. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Just, I think Councilmember Elwood hit it. This is really a must-do. Wasn't part of our original known plan, but it is additional that is required.
Thank you. Mr. McFarland, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you. Just pointing out, yeah, it is almost double what we anticipated originally. And so we're up there again. We're investing in an old building that has some concerns. Overall, it's not a lot of money. Looking at our chief and saying, little things do get missed when we're talking about big change. Obviously, it's appropriate and in this case required. And so I do support it. And I hope that we're not seeing more.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from council wish to comment at this time? Ms. Torgerson.
I concur with what all of these council members have just said. It's a surprise, but it's a necessary item that we need to do. And so that's why I'm supporting it.
Okay, one more time. Anybody else wish to comment? Okay, moving on. Motion to approve AB 26-036, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Bosch for security improvements to the City Hall Annex in an amount not to exceed $80,000 in a form and content acceptable to the city attorney. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously once again. Thank you all. Much appreciated. And moving on to our last item, AB 26-037, ordinance amending 2025-2026 biennial budget. Mr. Chaw. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, Martin Shaw, Finance Director. This is the last item on your agenda, Council, AB 26-037. This is an ordinance amending the 25-26 budget. This would be a budget amendment number 5. As with the previous budget amendments that we've approved, periodic amendments to the budget is necessary to recognize either additional projects that are needed for the city's operations or to recognize additional revenues that have been received. This ordinance would amend the omnibus budget ordinance adopted through Ordinance 1823. This item was reviewed with the Finance and Administration Committee on April 7th with the recommendation for due pass for this full council. In terms of the contents for this budget amendment, Council, there are 4 items. The first one is a $75,000 item for professional services for Project 34. The funding for this would come from Fund 108, which is the Economic Development Fund. The next item is also for Project 34, but this would be the city match for a state-funded feasibility study. And this would also come from Fund 108, again, the Economic Development Fund. The next item is the item that we just discussed, which is the City Hall Annex, CJIS mandated security improvements. This would come from the general fund balance, again, in an amount not to exceed $80,000. And then the last item is a amendment to the 2026 salary schedule, Council, to reclassify a public works project manager to a development review stormwater manager. This position will be funded through multiple funds, and it is 100% cost recovered through development fees. As you recall, Council, the 2026 salary schedule was previously approved by Council on February 3rd of this year under AB 26-012 and Ordinance 1848. This amendment that we're bringing to you tonight is limited to amending the salary schedule only for this subject position. In terms of the reclassification of the position, Council, again, the Public Works Project Manager position, and you'll find this in your packets in terms of the salary schedule. The salary range ranges from $9,220 to $12,254 per month. The revised salary schedule for the reclassified position is from $11,314 to $14,490 for a difference of between just under $2,100 to $2,200 per month. The fiscal impact for this year, for 2026, is $11,646. And as you can see from the funding breakdown, half of the cost would come from the general fund, and the remaining half would come from the water, sewer, and stormwater programs. And again, the financing for this reclassification would come from development review fees. That concludes my remarks. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any clarifying questions? Mr. Shaw. Oh, Mr. McFarland.
Martin, thank you. I'm familiar with all four of the items you're talking about. On the first one there, though, I want to be sure we're clear. Project 34 professional services, $75,000. Does that contract still include funding for Project Belay as well?
Yes.
And per the contract that was approved prior, those costs are to be segregated. All right. So this budget adjustment, I don't have any qualms about. Just wanting to point out again, though, this is covering two projects, not just one. Correct?
Yeah, the original contract covers two projects. You're right, Project Belay and Project 34. This amendment here is specifically for Project 34.
Yes, thank you.
Any other clarifying questions from Mr. Shaw? Ms. Torgerson?
On the document here, it says it's a reclassification for a job title. But it's also a pay scale change as well. It doesn't seem like it's indicating that here. Is that included in all of this? Indicating that there's a pay scale change?
This is Councilwoman Torgerson. This is if you look at page 186 of your council packet, you'll see two lines that are highlighted in red. The first line shows the original position, the Public Works Project Manager. This position existed in 2025. In 2026, it would go to 0 FTEs, although the pay scale is still shown for the record. And then the position would then shift to 1 FTE for the Development Review Stormwater Manager. So the total FTEs stays the same at 51 positions. The only difference would be the recognition of the pay scale for this new position.
Okay, and we have not voted on this yet. Have we, changing this salary schedule?
Kendra, would you, City Attorney, please?
Kendra, would you please weigh in? Thank you.
Yes, and I'll just reiterate, actually, Martin already touched on this in his staff presentation. What he noted was in tracking the recitals is the history of each budget amendment. He specifically called out about 4 or 5 minutes ago that City Council adopted ordinance number 1848 on February 3rd, 2026, establishing the 2026 salary schedule. The City Council did adopt the 2026 salary schedule.
Including this? Okay.
If I may, I don't know if that was directed to me or Martin, but I might just jump in since I made the last remarks, and that is The highlighted change on page 188 of your packet that Martin has described is the amendment to the 2026 adopted salary schedule. That is the only position that is being discussed as to a reclassification.
Okay, so we haven't voted on this change. That's what we're doing today. We made a salary schedule in February, but this is a change to the salaries, an amendment to the change of the salary schedule in February, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I guess my challenge with this particular amendment is we have so many different ones in here. You've got Project 34, you've got the City Hall Annex. Now, the City Hall Annex, we approved that just a few minutes ago. And then now we have this amendment here, but this is this is not being done on its own. And so I'm just going to make it, for example, if a council member disagreed with any one of these in the past that have been voted on, and now we're being asked to vote on all of them, it's requiring us to vote no on all of them if we wanted to be consistent with our previous vote. So I feel like that's unfair and it's not transparent either. I feel like all of these should be separate, unless they're the same, like Project 34, that's very similar, right? But these are separate identities. And so as council members, we should be able to vote on them separately. So that's why I have a problem with this particular agenda bill. The other thing is, because they are very different. Say a citizen wants to do a search and learn about some amendments, and they're looking for only salary schedule information. They're not going to find it because it's going to be buried in here, and the salary schedule is not going to be part of this particular thing. So like, I know there's this thing called digital, you do it, Brendan, it's called digital something or other, digital archive. And so you can look to see all the amendments. Well, this one's going to be one of those things you just can't find. You can't find this particular edit. So that's what I have a problem with this particular agenda bill item. I would like to separate that out.
Madam Mayor, if I can.
But what I would like to say is because of that, I'm going to vote no on this.
Okay, I'm going to ask our council to weigh in.
A city attorney wants to weigh in. They have their hand raised.
Thank you. And I just wanted to clarify if I could. So in our ordinance, the operational sections do track exactly what is being amended in your budget. So if you haven't had an opportunity to study page 184 of your packet, section 1 and section 2 do clearly track the amendments that are occurring. This was published for the public in advance, and it dictates the appropriation and expenditure changes, and then as well as the salary schedule with the highlights. I hope that answers the question. This is how North Bend prior budget amendments have been processed as well. I've reviewed that history and looked at that. And it's a way for council and the public to be able to track the biennial budget as amended by council each time the council touches it through those operational sections that are clearly set out through the ordinance.
Thank you so much. Any other clarifying questions? Seeing none, let's go back to Finance and Administration. Chair Rustic.
Thank you. Motion to approve AB 26-037, an ordinance amending the 2025-2026 budget as adopted in ordinance number 1823 and is amended by ordinances 1826, 1837, 1847, 1848, and 1853 as a first and final reading.
Second.
Thank you so much. Ms. Rustic, would you like to speak to your motion?
Just to say that while these, I do agree, these being lumped together can be a challenge. We've actually voted on all of these, whether we agreed with them or not, they've been voted on. And so now this is just matching the books with what has been approved.
Thank you. Mr. McFarland.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
I thank the chair for reading that. For one, the budget amendments, regular occurring items, This one, as was discussed at the committee level, felt a little unusual in that we had taken action on some contracts such as Project 34 prior to the budget being there. This is cleanup. That again is not all that unusual. We do cleanup typically at least quarterly. And so I think that's still within the normal course of business. And so these 4 items, I think, are just keeping up with changes that we've been made. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Torgerson.
We voted on all of them except for the salary schedule one. That one, this is the first time we're voting on that particular change. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Our counsel, would you like to weigh in on that?
If it's helpful, if anybody has clarifying questions, I'm happy to. But again, the salary schedule as a whole was adopted by the council in February of this year, and then the highlighted change is the only modification.
Thank you again. Anybody have any other council clarifying questions? No? Okay, motion to approve AB 26-037, an ordinance amending the 2025-2026 budget as adopted in an ordinance number 1823 and as amended by ordinances 1826, 1837, 1847, 1848, and 1853 as a first and final reading. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed? No.
Okay, that's passes 6-1. Thank you for that. Screwed up the whole, I think we're gonna go on to committee. Okay, where are we? Mayor and council initiatives. Here we go. Let's have some fun. And let's start with Brendan, please.
Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you for the business owner who showed up tonight. I'm excited to see new business come in, and I'm excited to see policy decisions having that kind of an impact on our community. So that's well done, and well done, staff. That was a lot of cleanup. So I appreciate all the hard work that went into that tonight. As far as anything going on, Importance of Being Earnest is a play at Valley Center Stage. Valley Center Stage, just as a reminder, is a cooperative effort with Slough Grange. So it's 2 nonprofits working together. Closing weekend is this weekend. It's I'm checking it out myself this weekend, and I've heard nothing but great reviews on it. So as we were talking earlier, it's just a walk right across the street, quite frankly. So it's easy to get to, part of our tagline, and hard to leave, right? At any rate, check out Valley Center Stage. You're supporting 2 nonprofits that are really all volunteer run. Everything's 100% volunteer, and just doing what they can to bring arts, performing arts, alive and well here in the community. So thank you for that.
Mr. Elwood, Ms. Torgerson.
I have nothing this evening.
Thank you so much. Ms. Colon.
I would just like to say it's nice to see our new Chief Hall sitting back there. And I'm excited to meet our new officers when they come on. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rustic.
Thank you. I don't have anything this evening.
Let's see, Mr. Jocelyn.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let's see, Councilmember Elwood has offered us the opportunity to attend either the Health and Public Safety Committee or the Importance of Being Earnest. So you can choose. It was pointed out at the beginning of the meeting that perhaps Councilmember McFarland and I should coordinate wardrobes before meetings. Yes. I also wanted to share, and this could have been in my Puget Sound Regional Committee report, but I'm just going to read briefly a note from Josh Brown, who's the head of the Puget Sound Regional Council. As many of you know, we've spent the past few years supporting the development of a housing research center in Washington State. I'm excited to invite you, which includes any of us, to join PSRC and the University of Washington to celebrate the launch of the Housing Futures Center on April 22nd, which, yes, it's tomorrow. I'm remiss in being so late. There is a luncheon tomorrow in downtown Seattle to celebrate the opening of the Housing Future Center, which is a research-based institution to help, come up with solutions and proposals and do work around the issue of housing, which I know we're all concerned about. My last note for the evening, which is relevant for those of us who live in this community and the surrounding areas, which is folks at the federal level have decided to essentially eviscerate the U.S. Forest Service as we know it. I don't know the explicit impact that will have on our local ranger station, the sidewalks and parking lot of which were just so nicely repaired and fixed. It's a beautiful facility that I have been proud to have in this town. My concern is it too will be going away along with the research centers in over 31 states across our country. I worked for nearly a quarter century up the hill at the Cedar River watershed. The Habitat Conservation Plan that supported that effort was strongly supported and co-signed by members of the U.S. Forest Service, without whose expertise, insight, and research-based focus, it simply wouldn't have been put in place. The protection for threatened and endangered species, and all of it is being put at risk and shipped off for no clear reason. And it hurts my heart. And to the degree anyone might choose to reach out to our federal representatives and push back, the effort that's currently underway is expected to be fully implemented by the summer of 2027. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McFarland.
Thank you, Mayor. I shall endeavor to be more careful about my attire in the future. I can't believe I'm getting to steal the thunder being the last to speak for council tonight. You know what else is tomorrow? Okay. Well, I'm going to get you. Earth Day's tomorrow. I spent many hours this past week digging in the earth, encouraging some plants, discouraging some others. I totally remade my little patch of earth. Yeah, exactly. I could show the snow clip as well. But, ground covers, trees, shrubs, vegetables, different zones, different areas. In fact, I revised my comprehensive plan with various zones for vegetables and these types of things, right? It kind of reminded me that that's a lot of what we do here legislating for what you tell us, the public tells us, and what we believe is in the community's best overall interest. I don't know that I got it right digging in the dirt the last few weeks. We'll see. But hopefully some things come out better. Yeah, you ask, what's the big picture? Well, that's the steps we're taking towards it. What's working out as envisioned? What's not working out as envisioned? That's a lot of what we do as we consider items from regular time here. Tonight's song, as I have always done since coming to council here, is from Phil Ochs, a great songwriter, political commentator who wrote over 200 songs during the 60s and 70s, and unfortunately died by his own hand in 76. These lines are from just one of those songs. This is 1965, titled, "I Ain't Marching Anymore." These two lines seem to ring very true again these past months. It's always the old to lead us to the wars, always the young to fall. I hope you'll give that a listen, and maybe some others by Phil Ochs. Great person. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was remiss. Your gardening reference reminded me that on Saturday I came up and participated at the landscape recycling program, and as the person I was in line for a long time along with a whole lot of other residents, and as the gentleman said, it's the hottest ticket in town. So, thank you.
Excellent. Mayor Pro Tem Trimalotta.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. And I will be careful on how to approach this, but I did send a note to some staff and some council members as well to acknowledge, and I'll say it out loud so council can hear it. And I think we should review and consider, speaking of land use and comprehensive plans, our neighbors are having a hotly and exciting debate right now about a best facility. I think I have a lot to learn about it, but I'm learning from the periphery. But I do think it's an important item to note for us that even though we don't have a direct, conversation here in our town, I think it's something that we should learn about. I think there are some fairly significant environmental and public health and safety items tied to this type of facility. And I think we should be cognizant of what it is. It's not too far away, and how that could or couldn't play a role in our town in the future. And maybe even take a step at council discussing whether we should put some sort of temporary moratorium in place so that we can at least have that conversation and discuss it and learn about it. It's new, it's changing, it's something that's never really been considered. So I would just encourage us to keep eyes and ears on that conversation over there. It's become aggressive, it sounds like, and every day something else comes out. But anyways, that type of technology is here to stay, no doubt. And so I think we have to Councilmember McFarland's point, things are changing. We have to figure out, how do you work that into a land use plan, or should you, or do we, do we want to have that conversation as a council? And then mental health awareness, as I've been talking about forever. 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness each year. 1 in 6 U.S. teens have a mental health condition, but only half of them get treatment. 50% of mental illness starts by age 14 and 75% by age 24. So I just want to talk about mental health. One of the best ways to raise awareness is just to start the conversation. So I encourage everyone to talk to your friends, talk to your family, and just continue the importance of the conversation of mental health. Don't let the hard days win.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Ms. Emery. Ms. Emery.
I was going to ask Tom, for the hottest ticket in town, how much we actually collected on Saturday. Tom Moore.
I think it was about 120 compacted yards in those 3 bins.
A lot. So yes, thank you for shout out, and to our staff that manned that this weekend. Thanks to them. Yeah. And that's my only update, Mayor. I'll kick it to you.
That's a good one. Thank you. Okay. Okay, please join me on Wednesday, April 29th at the North Bend Theater for my annual State of the City address to hear updates on economic vitality in the city and some exciting upcoming projects in 2026. Doors will be open at 5:30 and the event starts at 6 p.m. Also, we have a band also at the end of the evening starting around 7 o'clock. So stay for that, please. In honor of Earth Day, which has been brought up, thank you, Mr. McFarland. The city invites community members to join us for North Bend Beautification Day tomorrow, April 22nd. Please meet up at the train depot at 9 a.m. Valley Animal Partners, a local nonprofit organization along with Seattle Veterinary Outreach, is offering free vaccines and low-cost vet care for dogs and cats owned by people living unhoused or with low income on Wednesday, April 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Pet Place Market, located at 213 Bendigo Boulevard North. The city, in conjunction with the Snoqualmie Tribe, will be holding a special recycling event on Saturday, May 2nd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Snoqualmie Middle School. The event is open to all King County residents wishing to dispose of scrap metal, appliances, electronics, fluorescent bulbs, tires, and batteries. North Bend Jazz Walk will be held from 5 p.m. to midnight on Saturday, April 25th in downtown North Bend. The event features 18 different venues playing a fantastic selection of jazz music. More information about all these events and how to purchase tickets for the Jazz Walk, please visit the community calendar on the city website. And thanks again to our wonderful Public Works crew for all their efforts and the very successful, albeit 120 compacted yards collected yard event. There's going to be more coming forward, so please stay tuned for that and information. You guys rock. Thank you. And we're going to move into an exec session pursuant to RCW 42.30.14. 0B. I hope I got that right. Should last about 5 minutes with no decision made. Hope you can wait around for at least 5 minutes. We'll be back. Thank you.